grass-fed beef business and have been for 20 years now. And we want our customers to know the whole story and what happens and the challenges we face in producing the product and delivering the product to the stores for them to have every day of every year in a consistent basis. And we have to deal with a lot of things at the ranching level that people that live in town don't understand. And so we like to tell our story that we have pitfalls with weather and predators and insects and on and on and on, a whole litany of challenges that we face, but then how we've adapted our management program to address those challenges. And we have followed a management style that is really just based on what Mother Nature gives us and how to use the tools that she gives us that are adapted to where they are. It works very well. It's been done on the Great Plains for a few million years when the buffalo was here, the Native Americans were here, and how that system was so well managed without man managing it in any way, shape, or form. And so we just mimic history to come up with our management program, have changed the ranch by introducing all the native grasses that were adapted to this area and were here before and survive all those pitfalls and serve us all through the year.
So we got here in the morning, we got on the, what did you call it, our luxury accommodation?
Yeah, luxury accommodation.
There you go, the Hayride, and you took us to different pastures and explained the different grasses, the movement of the cattle. You told me your motto.
It's so simple, it's stupid. Because we're dealing with 4 seasons, but then once again, we have to deliver product to our customers every day. And so we deal with or use 4 basic types of grasses or plants here, and it's cool season annuals, cool season perennials, warm season annuals, and warm season perennials. And they grow and are nutritious at different times of the year. So what I call a forage chain, and each link is a month out of the year, and those different grasses help us fill every link in that chain to provide something nutritional to the cattle all year long. And so we can harvest cattle all year long that have reached their peak of genetic ability that we take advantage of, and do it with something nutritious where we don't have to work at it. We don't feed any supplemental feeds, we don't feed any hay. We stock this ranch, in other words, how many cattle we keep on it at any one time, in a way that we keep grass to eat during the dormant season. But then again, the cool season grasses grow during the winter, and that's something that we can use. And it's what the buffalo did in their normal migration, that they did what we call high intensity, short duration grazing. A lot of animals in a small area come in there for a very short time and they move off. And we're just managing with fences what they did in their natural migration.
Well, and within this management that you guys have created and done for the past 20 years, I know you've also found that you've recreated the land the way it should have been, and that's allowed the certification from Audubon, the Audubon Society?
Right.
Yes?
There's, of the 1,400 acres that here, when we got here in 1995, 900 of it was under cultivation. It was plowed ground, and it was wheat, cotton, and other various crops. And we started pretty quick after that converting that back to native grass. And that process took about 10 years. We did about 100 acres a year. It was fairly expensive, so we spread that out over 10 years. And then in the normal succession where Mother Nature is going to try to reach what we call the climax plant population. And that's what the Great Plains were here before we messed them up. And we have just accelerated that process a little bit by introducing this seed, but then with just management of cattle without herbicides or without chemical fertilizers, this system was designed to work without all those, and if you get out of the way and let it, it works.
And people are starting to take notice, obviously.
Yeah, and there's people that have. I mean, we were somewhat of pioneers in the grass-fed retail industry, but we're not a pioneer in good grass management. But that is becoming more widespread, and we're doing some work with TCU, both the ranch management department and the environmental science department. We're doing some work with Noble, and in doing some research to quantify how this management and a sustainable management system also provides economic benefits to the rancher. And then Audubon, you mentioned that. We are the first ranch in Texas that is certified in Audubon's Conservation Ranching Program, which that's an effort on their part to keep or reestablish grassland, native grassland bird habitat, because that's disappearing, be it under concrete or the plow, it's disappearing. And so there's protocols that you have to meet to be involved or be certified in that program. And we were the first in Texas, and it was easy because we didn't have to change anything. Everything we were doing was what's called for in that Audubon protocol.
Sure. Do you find when people come to these tours that they walk away much more open-minded or educated about the importance of the management of land and where their food is coming from? Do you get good reception?
Absolutely. And I'm always, I'm not going to say I'm amazed, but I'm somewhat surprised by what I talk about on this tour, be it legumes or be it grass succession or be it warm season grasses and cool, on and on and on, that I would think that the customer living in an urban environment, not exposed to agriculture other than buying food, would find that extremely boring, but they don't. And they ask a lot of questions, and anybody that's done any public speaking knows how good a job you do if they ask questions, because if they're interested, they're going to ask questions. And we get a lot of questions that you would think, I wouldn't expect these people to ask that, and they do. So yes, I think it's a lot of education in a very short time, but for what I consider a pretty simple subject.
Sure. Now, do you think the majority of the people that attend this tour come from being patrons of your stores, or do you get people that have never heard of you before but heard about the tour and they're here?
This tour, they're all patrons, because we send out an email that we have an extensive email list of our customers. We put sign-up sheets in our stores in Dallas and Fort Worth, so these are all customers. Now, going above that, we do this same type of tour that may be adjusted somewhat for the audience at hand. Like, for instance, the TCU Ranch Management class comes out every year and have for 15, 16 years. And they come from agriculture. They come from a ranching background. So they have different needs, and they're just experiencing what we do in our operation. So that's going to be a different talk, if you will, than the customer would get. But it's all pretty basic, and like I said, it's so simple it's stupid, so you can't complicate it very much.
Right. Tell me again about the Longhorns and the usage of those, because he was very interested in our trailers. So tell me more about him and how you'll utilize them.
Low stress is very important in a cattle operation, and for a lot of reasons, and for my patients. We want the cattle gentle. We want to be able to handle them. You can affect carcass quality with if things get a little crazy, and we have to move these cattle a lot because we do use a highly managed grazing system. Well, we got 2 Longhorns on the ranch, and they've been here. One of them's been here 20 plus years, and he's probably about due for retirement. But they're lead animals, because cattle are herding animals, and so they follow a leader. And so those Longhorns are very well versed in the ranch. They know where the gates are. They know where the water is. And when we go to move to another pasture, they know where we're going. So they're our leader for the herd to follow. And so that's all to be low stress, where we're not chasing things around in the pasture. They just go.
Sure. So when the cow sees the Longhorn, it knows to follow that Longhorn, and that makes it okay.
Yep. And there's a leader in a herd.
So I know you said you do 2 of these tours every year, right? Spring and fall?
Spring and fall.
Okay, so when is the next one coming up? Obviously spring, but like what month? Do you already know
We usually
yet?
do it in April. We just want to do it when it's not 105 or 25. So
Sure.
do it for the weather. And it's always hard to find a weekend in April where there's not a lot of stuff going on, but that's true with people anytime. So yeah, and we'll send out emails to our customers and let them know, here's the tour, and it fills up every year. We always have a waiting list. So.
So if someone wasn't a customer, they're seeing this for the first time, but they want to get on that email list so that they know about the next tour, how do they do that? Can they go to y'all's website?
Yes, they can go to our website, or they can go in and either our store at Rawson Hall in Dallas or our store on 7th Street in Fort Worth, and they can get on the email list there. But the easiest way is go on the website, and we've got where you can sign up for the email. And it's city specific. So if you live in Fort Worth, you can sign up for Fort Worth. If you live in Dallas, you can sign up for Dallas, because we may have events or sales or something at one store, not the other, and we'll target who we send that to so they don't get too much junk, and we don't sell their email address or anything.
Sure. So every tour, are you partnered with a nonprofit that some of the proceeds go to, or is this a first with Slow Food? Or?
This is the second.
Okay.
The tour that we did last spring, Wendy has become, well, matter of fact, she started, her and some other ladies started the Slow Food chapter in Dallas, and they saw this as an opportunity for a fundraiser that people in slow food that relate to where their food comes from, what's in their food, so it's a natural fit, and so we just did it as a fundraiser. We didn't used to do the lunch, but it's really a nice touch.
I was going to say, it's kind of nice to have some of your products and then food from other chefs,
Yep.
I guess, that come and help out.
Well, Joanne Bondi, that cooked for him today, she owns Stocks and Bondi at the farmers market in Dallas, and we sell beef and chicken broth in our stores, and she makes all of it. And that's what she does. And so we send her chicken and bones, and she turns it into broth and sends it back.
Awesome. Well, I can tell you we've consumed a lot of that in our house.
Well, good.
And now I know where it came from.
From that lady over
That's
there.
right. Perfect.
Yep.
Awesome.